Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fierce Friday. Today is September 2nd, and we are so excited to be covering household greenwashing today. Here at the Million Mom Movement, we're really proud to just be sharing information that is prevalent in our everyday lives. And so I'm really excited about this topic and just learning more and sharing more with you all. And we also have a special guest, one of our original Million Mom Movement founders here. So Jody Parker is going to be joining us in just a little bit and sharing some of her knowledge because she has so much wisdom to share with us. And so I'm so excited for this presentation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Naiva Flory, and I've been a part of the Million Mom Movement Council for about 4 years now. And I started, actually, it's my 8-year anniversary with Perfume yesterday. So I'm so honored to be here with you all. And I love everything that this movement has provided for my family. So much education, so much empowerment. And, I really don't know where I would be if I wasn't here with you all. So thank you all for being here. And thanks for inviting your community to join us as well, because we're joining and growing this movement so that we can become the movement of many and we can become that million people strong, right? So I'm super excited for this presentation. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Taz and Kiara. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I guess we will read the pledge. So nice to have you all here with us. And this greenwashing is going to be a great topic. So I can't wait to get into that. I don't know if we have Carmela on the call yet, but happy birthday, Carmela. Today's her birthday, so we just wanted to give a little shout out to Carmela. And before we go into the pledge, let's talk about why the pledge is so important to us, right? We come on these Fierce Friday calls all the time. Oh, there she is. Okay, you know what? I'll pass it to Carm if she would like to read the pledge. Happy birthday, Carmela.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I'm happy we get to meet actually on this specific day. And it is a really beautiful day. It's Labor Day and weekend, so we're all here because we're all, well, I take it into two terms, wealth and health. So we're all, a lot of us, on a mission as families. So that's one aspect of labor for sure. And the other is our businesses here with our company. And the pledge grounds our movement and what we really stand for as a movement within our company, which I always love to share. So I'll bring you to the screen. And you can say it along with me. I'm here with my family, actually. They're taking me on a little surprise getaway. So I have this on my dining room table. And I love to share this with other people. Whoever comes to visit my home, I like them to understand what really true nutrition and health looks like. So I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free from man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement. And I love this pledge. I love everything about every word of it. It's an intention that we set as a family to choose clean and choose green. And we have so much great content today. I love that we're going to be talking about specifically our homes, because this pledge is what grounds us in our families to tell our kids, free of man-made ingredients, free of chemicals, and really to understand what label reading is all about. So I pass the word. I'm really excited to hear what you guys are presenting for our household products and what is greenwashing.
Thank you so much, Carmela. Okay, so I'm going to open up the greenwashing. So I've been doing this for the past 14 years, right, of clean living, eating healthy, right? But there's always different levels of awareness. So I wasn't aware of household items being so toxic. It was until I had my son. When I had my daughter, I didn't have any of these problems. When I had my son, I developed so many skin allergies. I would use those the cleaning products, you know, the detergent that you would put into the laundry, the Bounce, all of these things. And then I started developing rashes all over my body. And I became super sensitive to those scents. You know those Glade plugins? I had them all over the house. I had them everywhere. I love the scent. I'm like, you know, pumpkin spice, let's fill the house with this. I had no idea how toxic they were, right? But so many of us, there's different level of awareness. We start being aware of what's in our food. Wonderful. We start being aware of the household items we're using, the cleaning products we're using, what we're using every day, our soap, our paper towel. I mean, there's so many different levels of awareness that we start learning, right? If we had developed an allergy or not. Okay, so that was my story. And I'm going to get into, you know, so I invited Jody Parker on to be my guest on today's call because I'm like, the greenwashing household. I know a little bit about it, but I'm no expert in every single ingredient. And when we go to the store, I mean, we're bombarded by this, about this mislabeling and misleading labels. We go to the store and we see these green leaves and they say clean, right? So we think it must be clean. It must be okay for us, but they're not. And there's so many different levels of education that we need to teach ourselves because there's no one out there that's going to teach us. So I was telling my daughter today that I'm doing this topic about greenwashing. So she was telling me, you know, Dawn has this company because we see the commercials of Save the Ducks, right? You see this and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm helping a great cause. This is another form of greenwashing. Whenever they tie it to a foundation that you think, well, saving the ducks, that's a great thing. But you're actually putting toxic chemicals in the ducks and yourself, right? And then toilet paper. How many times do we go to the store and we see green all over these toilet paper, clean, eco, all of these labels that, you know what, actually we'll learn today doesn't mean much, does not mean much. So I have a couple slides that I borrowed from Miss Jody Parker. So I will be talking about it. And Jody, I invite you to come in and talk since this is all your information because I am always educating myself and learning about this each and every day. So I will share my screen and we shall talk about this. There we go. So greenwashing the household items. So your skin is the largest organ, as we know. Jody, would you like to go ahead?
I can if you want, or you're doing just fine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, we can play back and forth. I miss your energy so much.
So yeah, this is the thing I think people don't realize is your skin is the largest organ on your body, and nearly everything you put on it is absorbed directly into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. So why do we say nearly? Let's talk sunscreen. So we know that people say that zinc oxide is the only, and I do mean this, the only safe sunscreen out there. There isn't another one, and it has to be non-nano. Why? Because nanoparticles are 10 to the -9. So that gives you some idea of how small they are, and they can get absorbed into your skin. But non-nano zinc is a much bigger molecule, and it does not get absorbed, but it does block you from getting sunburned. So that's why people say non-nano zinc oxide, and that is one of the things that will not get absorbed into your skin. But most things are small enough. The capillary is right there at the base of your skin. It absorbs into your skin. It gets into your bloodstream. So I don't know if this is in the slides or not, but in our house, I say if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. Now, you may not want to eat it, but if it isn't safe to ingest, it's also not safe to slather all over the biggest organ of your body.
Absolutely. And I always say to look at your skin as a giant mouth, right? Because that's really what it is. It's everything you're putting on your skin, you are absorbing into your digestive system. Oh, thanks.
All right, isn't this crazy? So these numbers come from the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics. So the average woman wears 515 chemicals on the average day. More than 1 in 5 personal care products contain chemicals linked to cancer. 80% contain ingredients that commonly contain hazardous impurities, and 56% contain penetration enhancers, which makes it get deeper into your skin and deliver it deeper into your body. And something that's super, super important about those 15 chemicals is they say, well, it's just a small amount. It's just a small amount per serving size, but do that every single day for a year. And you've now absorbed 5 pounds of chemicals that you weren't supposed to have. And these things bioaccumulate, which means they build up in the tissues of your body. So one little small thing, no big deal. But if you're doing it every day for a year, now it's a big deal.
And we're not even talking about the toxic chemicals from the plastic, from the outside of the bottle. We're just talking about within the chemicals inside. So there's different levels of the chemicals. I'm sure 515, this is at minimum. It's probably so much more.
Yeah, and it depends, you know, you and I are not huge makeup wearers, but imagine the people that are putting on the foundation and the powders and the lipsticks and the mascaras and all that every single day, and then slathering in lotion and all that. Those are my babies. Look, everyone, those are my babies. So babies are born with over 287 different chemicals in their cord blood. 180 of those cause cancer in humans or animals. 217 are toxic to the brain and nervous system, and 208 cause birth defects or abnormal development. Those stats came from the Environmental Working Group, and that is not including glyphosate, which we know is being found in babies' cord blood. And you know, here at the Million Mom Movement, for those of you, I saw a couple people were new. I'm a former council member, so it was only 2 months ago, so I still sort of feel included. Yeah, that's something we talk about a lot. Here is the glyphosate and the use of Biomedic to get it out of the system. And that's something everybody should know is Biomedic is not going to just get the glyphosate out. It will also help to get other toxins out of the body. So you should feel good about taking that with these stats in front of you.
Absolutely. So I love how you say that. And, you know, so Biomedic is a chelator. So it helps chelate and remove these toxins. So it's so important to introduce to your everyday life.
Exactly. So this is the thing that most people don't know. You can look at all of those labels on personal care products, and they mean absolutely nothing, not a darn thing, because personal care products are not regulated at all. It doesn't matter if it says natural or organic or plant-based or whatever, everything's plant-based. You know, that doesn't mean it's good for you. And on and on and on. I don't care what it says. Ignore the labels, read the ingredients. The one difference that I can tell you is if it's actually certified organic. I only know of a couple companies that do that. And when you certify organic personal care products, they are certified to a food grade level, because there is no organic certification for personal care products. So if they're organic certified, it's the food people that are coming in and looking at those ingredients and at that facility and putting that organic label on there. And there's some companies, there's certain things that can't be certified organic, like zinc oxide, because it's a mineral. It's not something you grow, so you can't certify it. So not everything can be certified organic in personal care products, but the things that they can are food-based, which means you could eat it, which means you can put it on your skin without worrying about it absorbing into your bloodstream. So ignore all the hype and read the ingredients.
So that's a great point, right? So they can write anything on their labels and it means nothing. So cruelty-free, vegan, right? How many times have we seen this vegan label, paraben-free, eco, clean, and they do it in such a way that really makes us believe, mislead us. This must be, you know, all natural. How about fragrance-free? I see that a lot.
Well, and the thing that the other thing that worries me is when they talk about it's free of this and it's free of that and it's free of this. I don't care what it's free of. I want to know what's in it. It's a marketing gimmick. Well, it doesn't have, you know, whatever. Phthalates, for instance, is a big one. There's no phthalates in it. Well, yeah, but are any of these other ingredients in it? These are the top 12 ingredients to avoid. Again, this is coming from the campaign for safe cosmetics, is where this information is coming from. and these are just the top 12. I would say I'm a purist. Like, I don't want better, I want best. And so there are like 3 companies that I will use in my household. But these are the big ones. These are the ones that you really, really want to avoid. And I don't know, Tass, if you have in the slides, because I don't think I made them in these slides, about, you know, simple ways to know how to read it. Is that in the slides, or should we get to that later? Okay.
It's on the slides.
Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit, because there are some simple ways that you can look at labels and know, okay, I want to avoid this. But let's go into these and talk about them. I'm pretty sure I had them all spelled out for people.
Okay, so we have all of these chemicals to look for, right? So I love how you say, you're like, Kate, thank you for telling me everything you're free of. What are you full of?
Oh boy, that was the perfect way to say it.
So I need so many chemicals to look for, right? So take a screenshot of this, and when you're looking at your products, when you're at the store, compare, see if it has any of these ingredients, okay?
Well, and with these ingredients, they hide them. They hide them. So you have to know how to read your label. And that's why I'm saying you can take this in and go, I don't want this, and I don't want this, or you can go, okay, if it has a number in it, I don't want it. If it's something I can't pronounce, I don't want it. If it is a preservative, oh my goodness, the preservatives, guys, most of them are really bad for you. And most things have preservatives, and a study, it was the late 90s actually, done by NASA, showed that embalmers did not have to embalm the human body as quickly anymore, because people are putting on their skin and taking so many preservatives that they're not rotting. That's how bad it is. So preservatives harden your cell membranes, and they take the water out of things. So they're going to make you look older, which is not what you want in your personal care products anyway. But think about what that does to your body. So
Very dehydrated.
Right.
Right?
It's bad. Do we have the other ones that like break these down, or do we just have the screen? Okay, so here we'll go with a perfect example. So choose this, not that. So here's a perfect thing of when you're looking at things. These are 2. So one of the companies that I will support is Poofy Organics. So that's why I chose them for this slide. And then I did not want to, in a bad way, show somebody else. So I didn't say who this was, because I don't want to badmouth another company. But look at the difference in the ingredient list. The longer the ingredient list, the more likely you are to have chemical reactions. Okay, so for instance, if you have sodium benzoate and citric acid in the same product, they make benzene rings when they are mixed together, and benzene rings are highly carcinogenic. So the 2 ingredients by themselves are fine, but when you put them in the same product, now you have a carcinogenic product. And if you don't want to have to read through it all, then if you see a really big long list like this, just don't do it. It's the same with food, right? Tess, we talk about this all the time. If it has more than 5 ingredients, what are you doing? You don't want to eat it, because there's going to be a bunch of chemicals in it. So this is a really good way to break that down. And if you look at the choose this, not it, at the one that says not this, if you look at the very bottom, phenoxyethanol, that is a preservative. Sodium benzoate, that is a preservative. Potassium sorbate, that is a preservative. Okay, so that's got a lot in there. The one preservative that tends to be okay is ethyl hexyl glycerin. Is not too bad. That's what Purim used when we did make personal care products. It's pretty mild. And sometimes you really do need to have a preservative, because it has water in it, it will go bad. So products that don't have preservatives in it will usually have a expiration date, because if it has water in it, over time it will go bad. So I don't know that I need to go any more into that. Any questions?
That was great. I mean, how about heavy metals as well? This is something else that you need to look at when it comes to makeup and all of these things. So the heavy metals actually goes into your bloodstreams as well. So avoid the long list. So just looking at it, even before even reading it, if it looks this long, more than 6 ingredients, put it back.
Right. Right. And in some cases, there will be slightly longer. I mean, it depends. Are you looking at shampoo or like, what are you looking at? But okay, here we go. So these are the ingredients from that first list, the top 12 to avoid. If it's an acronym, just don't do it. Like, just make it simple on yourself. If it's an acronym, you don't want it. So you can see BHA, BHT on the other side, the phthalates, DEP, DBP. If it's an acronym, all of those, the ethanol, I cannot say it. Ethylamine compounds. There we go. You can see, look at all those acronyms. If it has an acronym, don't get it. Just go with that. You don't have to make it hard on yourself. Any word with a phthalate. If it has a phthalate, that's going to mess with your hormones. Don't do it. The coal tar dyes. So if you see petroleum or anything like that on there, it's coming from oil. It's a petroleum product. So when people say what's wrong with Vaseline, it's a petroleum byproduct. Okay, so it's probably going to be contaminated, not always, but most likely it's going to have contamination in it. And the other thing that people don't realize with petroleum or lanolin or things like that is it blocks the pores on the skin. So when somebody has eczema, they will say, oh, throw some Aquaphor on it. That's the most popular one I see, which is a petroleum product. It's like a Vaseline. And what it does is it blocks the pores. Well, if you're getting a rash, your liver and your kidneys are overwhelmed, and now your body is using your skin to get rid of toxins, and that's what's causing the rash. So the rash goes away because the pores are blocked, so the body can't dump it out of the skin, but now it's staying in the body. You don't want it in the body, you want it out. So that is treating the symptom rather than the cause. So that's why you want to put you don't want to put things that are petroleum products on your skin. So you can see from all of these, go ahead.
That's exactly what happened in my case, right? With myself and my son. When he was going through his eczema flare, they would say, clean it with calendula, which that was great. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And then slather Vaseline on top of it to seal it, right? And he didn't get better. And there's so many of us, we get told this exact solution, this greenwashing solution that's not a solution at all.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, they're not itching as much, but now they're more toxic on the inside. And what is that? What is that doing to their long-term health? Take some Biotic. If you're breastfeeding, take some Biotic, right? I can't say that. I can just, that is what I would do in that situation. Let's put it that way. So more ingredients, formaldehyde releasing preservatives. So see all those big words there? If you see words like that, just don't buy it. Like if you don't know what it is and you're reading through it and you can't say hydroxymethylglycinate, like I even have trouble saying it, and I made this slide. If you don't know what it is, don't get it. Perfume and fragrance. So most fragrances are synthetic, and synthetic fragrances typically have things in it that mess with your hormones. They're endocrine disruptors. You want things that are scented with essential oils or with food extracts. That's it. Period. End of statement. If it's not an essential oil or a food extract, skip it because it's not real. Parabens on the label, they will always end in paraben. And those, again, they're endocrine disruptors. They're going to mess with your hormones. You don't want that. You're going to find that in lotions and in shampoos. Those are going to be the big two. And then PEG compounds, polyethylene glycerol, or sodium lauryl sulfate, any of those. Again, if it has PEG, if it's an acronym, skip it. I'm just going to make it really easy on people.
And you know what? The fragrances, we're talking also about candles. Okay.
And the petroleum wax that the candle is in puts toxins into your air, and then you're breathing the toxins from the petroleum wax and from the fragrance. The most toxic thing in your household, as far as indoor air quality, fabric softener and dryer sheets. The most toxic. Nope, no Scentsy. I would not use Scentsy. It's petroleum based. But that's me. I mean, you can if you want, but I wouldn't in my home.
Exactly.
And with dryer sheets, use wool dryer balls instead.
Exactly. I had to learn that the hard way, right? To use those wool dryer sheets. You just buy that and then you can add some essential oils. It's so easy and no more rash.
Exactly, exactly. I even, the company I mentioned even has wool dryer ball scent. And that's what we use in our house.
And if you want your house to smell amazing, buy a diffuser. Buy a diffuser and add some essential oils. So
Mhm.
now you know you're not getting any toxins and you have that nice fragrance that we all love.
Except use distilled water or RO water, because otherwise you're boiling water that has toxins in it. Oh my gosh, you guys, are you overwhelmed yet?
I can just go through it. I mean, it's a lot of, take screenshots of this because it's a lot of stuff.
So go back to the one you just had a second ago, and I'll just point out, look at paraffin and mineral oil. You can see all of that stuff. So paraffin is what we're talking about, paraffin wax, right? It's petroleum based. The sodium lauryl sulfates, SLS, you're gonna find that in toothpaste. That's what makes it foam. That's what makes shampoo foam. If it's foaming a lot, that's a chemical. Natural stuff will foam a little, like soaps will get a little bit sudsy, but you're not going to get the big foam unless you're using something synthetic. Siloxanes not only hurt you, but they hurt sea life. They're really bad in the water of sea life. And one of the things, the reason why dimethicone is highlighted, because there's a lot of companies out there who claim to be very green and very clean, and for the most part they are, but inevitably they have dimethicone in it, which is kind of the watered down version of the siloxanes. It's not quite as bad. It's a 4 out of 10 instead of the 8 out of 10 on Environmental Working Group. So it's not as bad, but if you're reading through ingredients and you want to know, is this company truly 100% clean? Dimethicone is one of the ingredients you can look for to know if they are, because more often than not, that's one that they will use. Triclosan is in hand sanitizer and most hand sanitizers. So you just want to skip that. Okay, go on. So this is how you can look at things. The greenwashing, look at the wellness company or the slogan purity, potency, and performance, or pure, safe, and beneficial. These are all companies, those are their slogans. And if you look at comparing them to ingredients lists, you can see, I can't remember what product this was that I compared it to, but look at how many ingredients are in each of those, and how many ingredients were on the complete avoid at all costs list. And the fact that none of them have a third-party certification. So they can say anything they want. And there are people out there, and I get passionate about this because it happened to me. I fell for one of the, it's so clean, it's so great. And it was one of the network marketing companies. And it was when I was first learning. And for those of you who know me, you know my story. My oldest went into early liver failure at 5 months old. I had to learn how to be completely toxin free. And I thought I was getting products that were that. And he broke out in a rash. And then I did my research. And I got very angry at that company who claimed to be safe for my baby, and it wasn't. And so that's why you can hear the passion in my voice, because it really makes me angry, and people fall for it all the time because they don't know that they don't know. So, you know, ignore the slogans, read the ingredient list.
And I can also say, you know, the more passionate they are with their slogans about saying that they're green, they probably are not.
Look for third-party certification and read the ingredients.
So that's really important to look for third-party certifications, right?
Like there is one called, I believe it's called Leaping Bunny, that is a third-party certification to make sure there's no cruelty to animals. Like those certifications do exist, but they need to be third-party. You know, the company can't police itself. And you will find that too. You will find people going, well, my company does this, that, and the other. Well, great, prove it. Prove it. Why should I believe you? And if they can't prove it, that is a red flag for me because of my experience with my son.
Okay, well, so that's all that I had planned.
I'm sure there's questions.
Yes.